My brother expected money after abandoning me for 25 years. My dad died first, then my mom 18 months later, like she'd just been waiting to follow him. I was 22 and completely alone. No savings, no support network, a bedsit I could barely afford on a warehouse wage. My brother Craig was 31 and had always been the favorite in the way that gets decided early in a family and never revisited. He'd got the house, he'd got the savings account, he'd got everything my parents had spent a lifetime building because he was older and married and had kids, and apparently that was the criteria nobody had written down, but everybody understood. I got 400 pounds and a box of my dad's tools. I called Craig 3 weeks after the funeral when my rent was due and I was 40 pounds short. I hadn't eaten properly in 5 days. I asked him if he could help me out temporarily, just enough to get through the month, and told him I'd pay it back as soon as I could. He laughed. Not a nervous laugh or an uncomfortable laugh, a genuine laugh, like I'd said something amusing. Then he said I needed to learn to stand on my own 2 feet and that he had his own family to think about. I heard his wife say something in the background, and he laughed again and hung up. I didn't call him again. I picked up a second job, then a third. I slept 4 hours a night for 2 years and saved every penny I didn't spend on rent and food. I taught myself everything I could and moved jobs and moved again and kept moving upward because there was nobody underneath me to catch me if I stopped. Craig sent a card at Christmas for the first 3 years and then stopped doing even that. 25 years passed. I built a life, a real one, a business that grew steadily into something I was genuinely proud of. I got married, bought a house, had 2 kids who would never know what it felt like to be 40 pounds short of rent with nobody to call. Craig called me on a Tuesday morning out of nowhere. I hadn't heard his voice in over a decade, and it took me a second to place it. He sounded different, smaller somehow, and got to the point faster than I expected. His business had collapsed. The house was being repossessed. He needed help, and he needed it quickly, and he said he was coming to me because I was family. I let him finish. Then I asked him if he remembered calling me after Mom's funeral. He said it had been a long time and things were different now. I told him I remembered it clearly, that I'd been 22 and 40 pounds short of rent and hadn't eaten properly in 5 days, and he'd laughed at me. He said he'd been young and stupid and he was sorry. I told him I appreciated that. He asked if I'd help him. I said no. He said I was his brother. I said I knew that. He said he had kids who'd lose their home. I told him I'd had nobody when I needed help and I'd figured it out and I had every confidence he would too. He said I was being vindictive. I told him I was being consistent. He called 3 more times that week. I picked up the last one and told him I wasn't going to change my mind and he should put his energy into finding another solution. He said I'd regret this. I told him I'd had 25 years to think about the last time we'd spoken and I didn't regret anything about this conversation. His wife texted me a month later saying I was a heartless man and that Craig was sleeping on a friend's sofa. I read it once and put my phone down. My wife asked me that evening if I was okay. I told her honestly I felt nothing about it, which was its own kind of answer. She nodded and didn't push it. Craig is renting somewhere now from what I hear through distant family. I don't know the details and I haven't asked. My kids asked me once if I had any uncles and I told them not really. They accepted that the way kids accept things when the answer comes without hesitation. Subscribe for more stories.